Do you want to see a druid in action? Come join us August 28th for Court of Corvids, where Jonas Newhouse will be playing a storm druid.
I could have just put it in effect.
I know, but I thought it would be cheesy. If I did.
Hi everybody, welcome to GameGorgon. My name is Krug.
My name's Indigo.
Today we're here to talk to you about the Druid, the thing that you want to play. Great words, Krug.
Great banter between us.
Yes.
I didn't say a thing.
That's what I like too.
With the Druid, you're going to be getting a handful of proficiencies, which you can see up on the screen right now. The key thing to this is you're going to be gaining one additional proficiency based off of the Druidic order you choose.
What's a Druidic order? Well, we're going to get there eventually.
Yeah, it's not the first thing.
No. As a Druid, you're going to get primal spell casting. You are a prepared caster, meaning that you know all of the spells to which you have access based on your level and maybe some other requirements, but you only can prepare a select number of those spells every day. If you did not prepare a spell, you cannot, under normal circumstances, cast that spell during that day.
With heightening, if you have a second spell slot or higher, you can actually take a first level spell and put it in as a second level spell and gain additional benefits based off of the description of the spell.
Yes, you have to do that in the morning when you prep. So if you prepare Lightning Bolt at level 9, you can only cast it at level 9 because that is where you prepared it.
Yep.
I don't even know if that's a valid preparation.
You also have cantrips, which are basically 0 level spells.
Yeah.
They are spells that do not require you to use a spell slot.
Right.
You also get to cast them an unlimited number of times because you're not using a limited resource.
As long as you meet the requirements of the spell in question, like you have the material components, you can wiggle your hands and make sounds.
As a druid, I feel like we're blasting through this one because we
have training in it now. We've increased our proficiency in this specific conversation to master.
When you're holding a primal focus, such as a holly or a mistletoe,
or literally anything made out of nature,
it's going to count as your material component for your spellcasting.
Druids actually have their own list of anathema, which we've talked about during Cleric and during Paladin and during Barbarian. An anathema is basically something that goes against the will of the thing that is granting you your power. There are a couple things that are anathema for a Druid. If you do these things, you lose access to your Druid powers, which is most of everything you can do. Using metal armor or shields, despoiling natural places, or teaching the Druidic language to non-Druids. That's a general list, and then there are more specific ones depending on what Druid order you pick. That last one, teaching the Druidic language to non-Druids, is rough, because I can see a player doing that, forgetting, and just being like, oh yeah, this says this to somebody in their party. Oops, none of your spells work.
In Court of Corvids, secret plug, Jonas is playing a Storm Druid who is married to William, who is not playing a Druid.
So there's a language that one of those two characters knows that during their entire time together, which admittedly is not that long because William's playing a goblin, they cannot have shared that ever. And if at some point it comes out that they do, the power goes away? You gonna be that guy?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, right here.
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna warn them.
Except for the fact that they're more than likely going to be watching this. I don't know why each eye had its own vision, but yeah.
We're both watching you, but at separate times.
Speaking of, guess what else you get?
Do you get to know the Druidic language?
You get to know the Druidic language.
Because you're a Druid. End of conversation. Yeah. Now, when you become a Druid at level 1, you're going to align yourself with a Druidic order. There's 4 orders to choose from: Animal, Leaf, Storm, and Wild. And they each offer you their own benefits as you progress through your Druid-y life.
The first one is Animal, where you gain the following benefits. You are trained in athletics. You also gain an Animal Companion Druid feat. You also gain the Heal Animal Order spell. You're going to also gain an Anathema, which is what we talked about. With an anthem. You're going to get an anthem that you put your hand over your heart on, and you tell people you have to fight against cruelty and you can't fight or kill animals. Now, if an animal attacks you, you are still allowed to defend yourself. You're just not allowed to go out of your way or like purposefully harm or hurt animals.
If you are going to, for example, hunt for food, you're not going to hunt for food, you're going to scavenge for berries. Next is Leaf. You're trained in diplomacy. You gain the Leshy Familiar Druid feat. You gain the Goodberry Order spell, and you increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1. As a Leaf Druid, you're not going to be able to be cruel to plant life. Instead of foraging for berries or whatever, you're going to be hunting animals and killing animals.
Or theoretically, in this sense, you can be waiting until the berries fall naturally.
Yeah, exactly.
And
again, it's still reasonable for you to pick berries, but you can't be wantonly like, none of these things, man, I'm gonna move it out of my way.
You're over-tilling the ground. You're hurting the plant.
It's like, think of it as like a respect thing. Like, oh, thank you very much, plant, for these berries. Like, you're not taking more berries than you need, wasting them. You're using it to feed people who are hungry. That's how I'm playing it off in my head.
And I would also say that that's the same for animal. If it was necessary for you to hunt animals for food, it's not like it's not like if you're an animal druid, you're like, cool, I'm a vegetarian, because it's like, no, tigers. I mean,
you
thing.
can.
Yeah, you absolutely can, but it's not like a requirement.
Yes.
Yeah.
Part of nature is like the hierarchy of like the, what's it called? The food chain?
Yeah.
It's the hierarchy of the food chain and like the cycle of life. Things die in nature. I'm sure that it wouldn't go against your anathema to kill an animal and eat every part of it.
Exactly. Next is going to be the Order of the Storm. You're trained in acrobatics. You gain the Stormborn Druid feat. You gain the Tempest Surge Order spell, and you increase the number of focus points in your focus pool by 1. You're basically Captain Planet. You can't air pollution, climate change. You can't allow people to do these things. They're hurting Mother Earth. You know.
That's very interesting, because I can't think of very many situations where someone with access to the levels of technology that are present in this game can do that on a scale that's troublesome. Like, what is raising cattle like a problem there? Like, I just don't see it being as difficult as not killing plants or not killing animals.
Over-tilling land,
sure.
Right? While that is under like the leafy kind of genre, I think that it also will take effect in that land, cutting down massive amounts of trees.
Yeah.
Or like, oh, we're overpopulating, we're growing, and we're cutting down all the
giant
trees.
Cities maybe, like, that have like lots of blacksmiths and they're polluting the air with like the...
I know we've only gone through 3, but all 4 of them have layers where they're overlapping on things that affect them. Specifically, like we're talking about major cities, that kind of goes into the next one, which is the Wild Druid.
You're trained in Intimidation, you gain the Wild Shape Druid feat, and you gain the Wild Morph Order spell. Yeah, you're right, because the Wild Order's anathema is that you can't be tempted into becoming a part of a unnatural civilization, something that is like completely man-made and has absolutely no connection to nature. I think that you can still be a part of a civilization.
Yes, and the key thing is, like, they're saying, like, it doesn't prevent you from, like, staying the night. Or, but it's basically like, I'm not going to build a home and live here.
Yes.
Because that's the life of civilization.
Right.
Like, you want to live out in the woods.
Yes.
You want to be in nature.
And next to that, you can do that with other people.
Yes.
You can live in a tree community that has, like, I don't know, found natural like entrances to trees or like cavities in trees and built like a home in they're giant trees. They might exist in your world, they might not. Don't judge me. You're not completely excluding yourself from a society. It's just modern society is a problem.
And I would say that the key word in this is domesticated.
Right.
Is fully domesticated. That means, you know, you're not...
You have to have a connection with nature. You have to be able to live in the wild. You should be trained in survival in my book, but whatever, sure.
After you've chosen your order, you're going to get a series of other benefits and bonuses. The first one you're going to get is Shield Block, which gives you the Shield Block feat.
At level 1, you also get Wild Empathy, which is one of the more interesting class features that I've seen. This is basically going to allow you to use diplomacy to make an impression on an animal, to give it a very simple request, like what direction is north? I don't know, maybe that's not a simple request. This is a conversation that you might want to have with your GM. Every GM is going to consider simple something different. Like, I consider cardinal directions simple. Some other GMs might think, well, cardinal directions are a man-made construct and animals wouldn't know what those are. The interesting part of it to me is that it specifically stipulates that most wild animals will give you a chance to make your case, to like say, I like you. I am a nature like bound person. Don't attack me. Also help.
I think the other kind of benefit to this is the fact that, and you kind of hit it, which is because they're going to give you the opportunity, the simple request can be like,
leave me alone.
Please stop attacking.
Or please don't start attacking.
Yeah, exactly.
Like you hear a growling in the bushes. Like whoever was on watch that night succeeded a check. You know that there are wolves, and the druid gets up and says, hey, we're not here to hurt you or your young. Leave us alone and we'll leave you alone. We're not defenseless. You're not going to win this fight.
Yeah.
I like it a lot.
Then at second level, you're going to get a druid feat. You're going to get one at second level and every 2 levels thereafter.
Nice. We're not going to cover some of the generic things that are similar between all the classes, like when you get ability boosts and when you get ancestry feats and stuff like that, because they are generic. At third level, you're going to get alertness. This is going to increase your perception proficiency to expert.
At 5th level, you're going to get Lightning Reflexes, which is going to increase your proficiency in reflex saves to Expert.
Lightning reflexes? Because
They're super fast.
The Storm Druid.
Oh, I didn't even go that way.
I don't actually talk like that. At 7th level, you're going to get Expert Spellcaster. This is going to increase your proficiency with Primal Spell attack rolls and Primal Spell DCs to Expert.
At 11th level, you're going to get Druid Weapon Expert, where you're going to take your proficiency in simple and unarmed weapons up to Expert.
Nice.
Because your arms are not weapons.
Wait, the weapon is unarmed, or are you not holding? At 11th level, you're going to get Resolve. This is going to increase your will save proficiency to Master, and it's going to count any successes you make on will saves as critical successes, which is nifty. Critical successes are good. It's like rolling a natural 20. That's really good.
Roll up. At 13th level, you're going to get Medium Armor Expertise, which is going to take your light, medium, and unarmored defense proficiency up to Expert.
Nice. At 13th level, you get Weapon Specialization. This is flat damage that scales based off of your proficiency with a weapon.
At 15th level, you're going to get Master Spellcaster, which is going to increase your proficiency in spell attacks and spell DCs to Mastery.
At 19th level, you're going to get Legendary Spellcaster. Same thing as the previous thing, but the word Legendary instead of Mastery.
At level 19, you're going to get Primal Hierophant, which is going to allow you to cast a single 10th level spell. You're a prepared spellcaster.
You are.
So you're going to have all of the 10th level spells accessible, but you can only prep one of them per day. Why don't we give you an example?
Let's do that. This spell's called Cataclysm, and it's bananas. Cataclysm has a somatic and a verbal component. That means it requires 2 actions. It has a range of 1,000 feet and an area of a 60-foot burst and a reflex saving throw. You call upon the unimaginable power of world-ending cataclysms, ripping a small piece of each cataclysm and combining them together into one horrifically powerful attack. The following effects come down upon all creatures in the area. Treat the resistances of creatures in the area as if they were 10 lower for the purposes of determining the cataclysm's damage. Each creature attempts one basic reflex save that applies to all 6 types of damage. Flesh-dissolving acid rain deals 3d10 acid damage. A roaring earthquake shakes and bludgeons creatures on the ground, dealing 3d10 bludgeoning damage. A blast of freezing wind deals 3d10 cold damage. Incredible lightning lashes the area, dealing 3d10 electricity damage. Beating winds churn across the sky, dealing 3d10 bludgeoning damage to creatures flying in the area. An instant tsunami sweeps over creatures in the area, dealing 3d10 bludgeoning damage with the water trait, doubled for creatures swimming in the area. A massive wildfire burns in a sudden inferno, dealing 3d10 fire damage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 21. That's 21d10 damage. I think it's actually impossible. Oh, hi, are you scared? That's reasonable. That's a butt ton of damage.
2 of them are situational. I think
Yes.
the flying one,
Yes.
and then the underwater one.
And the ground one potentially, if
Yeah.
they're flying creatures.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's possible to
Get every
single one. So let's say it's 18d10.
But still, it's one saving throw for all of them,
Yes.
which I don't know if that's like super awesome or crappy, because it's like, okay, if they fail, then it's all of them. But if they succeed all of them. It's a mixed bag when it comes to that aspect, but that's so
But the
much
other thing is
damage.
its range is 1,000 feet.
Over there. Boop. This was definitely front-loaded heavy for what happens.
Yep.
Most of your uniqueness comes from the fact that it spells.
Yep.
And
your feats,
and your feats.
because your feats let you decide whether you want to be the polymorph person or whether you want to be the like pet person. That's where those directions come into play.
I will say the orders in which you choose definitely put you in an advantage in one
Yes,
of those
absolutely.
groups. So I think depending on what you want to do as a player, I would really take a look at what feats that you're going to have options for based off of your order decision, and then go from there. It's very similar to the Bard in that sense, where they both are like front-loaded and based off of your early morning decision changes the feat choices that you get to go down and how they benefit you.
And something else I'd say for the Druid is make sure that one of the feats that you want to pick, you can't just like substitute with a spell. Because that's a thing that might be available to you at some time.
I'm intrigued to see all of your builds. We're definitely going to be making some builds. We will be taking all of our players from Quarter Corvid's character sheets and their builds and posting them up online soonish. trademark that somewhere. And you'll be able to see Jonas's Storm Druid and see how they built theirs. I want to know what you all are building.
I just want to throw this out there real quick. These aren't min-maxed characters.
No. They're definitely building their characters and trying to
enjoy the characters.
Enjoy the characters.
That's all we want.
Yeah, but I just want to show everyone what you've all
Yeah.
created and kind of play along and understand what you can do as
it
it happens. But let us know what your builds are down in the comments. While you're down there, make sure to hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, and then just go ahead and skip over that bell icon and go to Twitter and talk to us there. You can talk to me there on Twitter at IndigoQT.
And you can talk to me on Twitter at IndigoQT. And you can talk to both of us at all these social media things down here. One of them is Patreon if you want to give us money because you don't want to succumb to the domestication of civilization.
Hey!
Right here, give me some.
I like that. That was a bad high five, but I don't care.
Neither do I. We've been GameGorgon. We'll see you guys next time.